Here is everything you need to know about these New York Jets ahead of their matchup against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. Now, I'm not going to really highlight the game and talk about matchups and talk about can the Jets get the win in this video because I don't think anybody cares about that. I think it's more about the trades the Jets made, the new Jets that just brought in. Apparently, we just benched our linebacker, Quincy Williams. What is this Jets team going to look like in the back end of the season after the bye? Which players are we intrigued about to see? Because this Jets team is going to be completely different, folks, and that's the reality of this season is now that we trade away Sauce, we trade away Quinnen, you got Azareye'h Thomas stepping in for Sauce Gardner, you trade for Mazi Smith, he's filling in for Quinnen Williams, you bring in A.D. Mitchell, you bring in John Metchie the third. You even got another corner that maybe can provide some depth in Jasir Taylor. Like, there's so much new energy all of a sudden influencing this football team. So that's really what I want to talk about in this video, what to expect from these New York Jets after the bye week and what to really look for. What is there to kind of cling on to if you're a Jets fan to be excited for the future? Obviously, the draft picks is giving everybody excitement. I could be making mock drafts right now, but I'm not going to do that. I did make it on Bleacher Report. If you guys want to go check out, I actually did a 2026 and a 2027 mock draft. Bleacher Report asked me to do it, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So if you want to see my mock drafts, go over to Bleacher Report and look up the Jets tab and you'll see me over there. But getting into what I wanted to really highlight in this video, this is all about Aaron Glenn for me the rest of the season. 9 games left. Is he going to show us anything productive? Is Aaron Glenn going to come away in these 9 games and we can be confident about him because he knows what he's doing? A lot of people early on in the season were expecting Aaron Glenn to be a one and done. I absolutely never thought that was a possibility. I understand the frustration and all that, but now that the Jets officially parted ways with 2 of their best defensive players for all those draft picks, you best believe that both Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey are locked in for the next, not just next season, but I think they're going to get 2 more seasons, 3 seasons total before you can really evaluate them with this Jets team. I mean, Salah got 3 or 4 years. Douglas got 5 years. So I think the Jets are going to give them their opportunity to build this thing their way. And I think it's evaluation mode on how does Aaron Glenn really learn from that win he had against the Cincinnati Bengals, because the style of coaching that he had in that game was really important for me as a Jets fan to kind of believe in him. The aggressive nature is something I want to see continue for this game against the Browns and then Thursday night against the Patriots and moving forward. I want this team to establish a killer mindset, something this team has lacked for how long now? So that's something I definitely want to see this Jets football team be able to accomplish, is be able to be aggressive. And what I mean by that is go for it on 4th down. Be aggressive on your play calling offensively. Be opportunistic on defense. Go for 2-point conversions more often. Like, I want the Jets to develop that mindset. And this is where you really establish the culture, is these last 9 games. The first 8 games was really about Aaron Glenn learning on the fly as a head coach. He had a lot of things where you're critical about Aaron Glenn. His management at the end of first halves, the discipline of penalties were abysmal. They've been really good, actually top of the NFL these last 3 weeks in terms of penalties. So I want to see some signs of encouragement, signs of improvement, because there are signs that Darren Mougey knows what he's doing. And that's something that I wanted to talk about in this video, because you look at the trades that Darren Mougey has made since he became the Jets general manager. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is the next starting corner for this football team in the nickel that I'm really, really excited about. Trading for Jawan Briggs, he's a solid defensive tackle. Trading for Harrison Phillips. Going after in the draft, Armand Membu looks like an absolute stud at right tackle. Mason Taylor's looking like a legit tight end. Now we have a rookie cornerback, Azareye'h Thomas, that we got in the draft. He's now the official starting corner in replacing Sauce Gardner. I'm intrigued about that. And then Malachi Moore, another safety that the Jets brought in the draft that's going to be starting for the rest of the season. Even Kiko is going to be starting at linebacker because Quincy Williams apparently is now the backup. So the draft class that the Jets brought in, they're all going to be playing. Like, everybody I just mentioned are going to be starters. Now, when it comes to the Quincy Williams benching, apparently, Steve Wilkes, he's talked to the media, and he said that was more about motivation and just being straight up with Quincy, saying that you're not playing to the standard that we expect from you, and they're hoping that benching him is going to unlock the version of Quincy that, you know, we all fell in love with, of his all-pro self. Now, a lot of people are critical about this. Why would you bench him and not trade him away? Maybe there weren't offers around there. He is a pending free agent, so most likely he's going to get traded. Most likely he's going to walk in free agency, if I had to guess, and maybe reunite with Quinnen over there in Dallas. But it is an interesting spot that the Jets are in. And the one thing I got to give this coaching staff credit for is they're not afraid to do like bold moves that look really bad on the outside. Like from the within this organization, Aaron Glenn is not messing around. If he sees a player not playing up to standards, he's going to give the guy behind him an opportunity. And right now that's Kiko. I think that what Kiko is going to be able to show here, could he be the long-term answer at linebacker for the Jets football team when Quincy Williams walks? We have Jamie and Sherwood still locked up long-term, of course. But when it comes to Kiko from Miami, that's another rookie that's going to be filling in for Quincy. I think Quincy's going to fight and get his starting job back eventually at the end of the season. But I definitely feel like at the end of the day, Quincy Williams getting benches is something that we have to note here. Now, when it comes to what to evaluate on the offensive side of the ball, well, we don't even know who's starting at quarterback, whether it's Fields or Tyrod. I'm not even going to talk about the quarterback position. This is more about the wide receivers. Having A.D. Mitchell and John Metchie being added to this receiver room really changes everything because no one wants to watch Alan Lazard run routes. No one wants to watch Josh Reynolds do anything. Like, we want to have young guys. We want to see Arian Smith and Garrett Wilson, who's returning this week, and these young guys. And now you have two guys, two former second-round picks that actually have a lot of talent. And more specifically, A.D. Mitchell has all the talent in the world. I mean, I'm shocked that the Jets were able to get him in this trade. Now, it makes sense from the Colts' perspective. He was their fourth receiver behind Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr. Alec Pierce kind of ascended his game as a vertical threat. And the reality of A.D. Mitchell is he had a breakout game against the Rams earlier this season. He had a big catch, a spin move down the left sideline. He drops the ball at the 1-yard line, fumbles, touchback. Ever since that big mistake he had, he was benched, and he had like one target a game since. So he was never really given the opportunity with the Colts this season to learn from that mistake. He never got more reps, and I think that a young guy like A.D. Mitchell that's that talented, being buried on that depth chart, he is going to take this and run with it. And I have a lot of high expectations with A.D. Mitchell. I absolutely do. Like, I am one of those people that look at him and what he did in Georgia, what he did with Texas, what he did with the Colts in very limited sample sizes. Like, this is the most talented receiver the Jets have had in a long, long time, next to Garrett Wilson. Like, arguably the most talented receiver. And Devontae Adams is the most talented receiver that we've ever seen next to Garrett. But when in terms of a young guy, I'm really excited about A.D. Mitchell. I think that he looks like a pure X receiver. He's got the physicality. He's got the mobility. He's got the size, the speed, the hands. I think the Jets would be smart to really get him involved, find a plan for him, because the Jets need wide receiver help for the 2026 and 27 seasons. Because you look at the draft picks that the Jets got, 2 firsts and 2 seconds this year, 3 firsts in 2027. Like, the Jets got everything they possibly need now to build this team their way. And the big narrative is what the Jets are going to do at quarterback in the offseason. Not going to get into that in this video. We have months and months and months to talk about that. There's so many different options. I'm hearing Joe Burrow to the Jets out there. That's a pipe dream. I'm down for it, but it is a dream. And I think that looking at Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor, I don't know who's going to start. I really don't. Aaron Glenn doesn't want to tell us. And you have to really evaluate this. Do you want to get Tyrod the starting gig, where a guy that kind of pushes the ball down the field and can develop these wide receivers more down the field? You can see Tyrod throw bombs to A.D. Mitchell and get Garrett Wilson involved. Or are you going to give the young guy, Justin Fields, his opportunity to kind of really try to establish himself and prove himself in this league? Because Fields has had 2 good games in his entire season this year, and the rest of his games have been really bad and just filled with garbage time numbers. So I'm curious to see where the Jets go at quarterback in this one. But a positive that I wanted to highlight in this video that I thought about today is how refreshing is it that the Jets do not have to draft an offensive tackle in the next 2 drafts? Doesn't that feel good? The fact that we got Olu Fashanu and we have Armand Membu, and I'll throw in Joe Tippmann as our interior guy to be excited about long-term. Like, woo, the fact that this offensive line has pieces that are young on rookie contracts, it really opens up the flexibility to build out this roster their way. They can draft a wide receiver next to Garrett. They can draft a running back if Brees walks. They can draft, of course, a quarterback. They can draft a defensive tackle, a corner. Like, they got so many holes on this team now that they can fill in with this draft coming up in these next few years. And the fact that we have Olu as our left tackle, Membu as our right tackle, they continue to hopefully progress to be the franchise guys, and they can both get second contracts eventually and solidify that offensive line for the next decade. That would be massive. And you got to fill out the interior. I think that AVT maybe coming back on a cheap contract for a 1-year rental would be smart, as long as you have depth behind him. John Simpson is a free agent. Myers is a free agent. So interesting stuff to see what the Jets are going to do on the offensive line side of things. But some other players I wanted to mention to watch in this next 9 games of the season, the last 9 games, is Mason Taylor. Is he going to really emerge as a solid tight end that this football team is really excited about? I want to see these rookies really show out and show who they are. I mean, it's not just, A.Z. Thomas now going to be able to show what he's capable of, but Mason Taylor, the rookie tight end, he really has a lot of upside, and I'm really, really excited about him. And then the last thing I want to mention is Breece Hall. Like, the guy did not get traded. The Jets held on to him, which I think was smart, in my opinion, because I like good players, especially on offense. And Tanner Engstrand is trying to establish this offense from scratch, and trading away Breece would have really hurt the entire continuity and building this offensive system. And even if Breece just plays the last 9 games and he walks in free agency, that's going to hurt. But I think the Jets have some leverage. They can give him the franchise tag, or they can extend him before he walks in free agency. So I'm team keep Breece. He's 24 years old, turning 25. I think that he's going to have a lot of positive years ahead of him in years 25 and when he turns 26, 27 years old. I think those years are going to be the prime of Breece Hall, and I want him out on the Jets. So we'll see what he does in the back end of the season. I think he has a lot of motivation now. And then the last thing is Jermaine Johnson. The Jets did not trade Jermaine Johnson. Now, what is his role going to be? Is he going to really embrace being the next face of this defense? Without Sauce, without Big Q, there needs to be a new face of this defense. Jermaine Johnson is that guy. Now, I would love if the Jets gave him a captain badge, because there's no longer a second captain on defense. It's just Sherwood, with Quinnen getting traded. I think Jermaine Johnson, man, what he said after he did not get traded, and he's embracing this rebuild. He loves this regime. He loves this team. Jets fans need to hear that. So shout out to Jermaine. I'm really excited to see what he looks like. And him and Will McDonald are the 2 anchors of that defensive line without Quinnen Williams off the edge. And then guys like Jamie and Sherwood, how's he going to step up? Andre Sisco's done for the year. Tony Adams is going to be starting in his replacement. So there's a lot of intriguing things to watch for the rest of the season. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments section. What are things you're looking at for the last 9 games of the season? And, of course, the Jets are taking on the Browns, but I don't really want to bore you about that game. We'll just see what happens. We're going to react to it and root for the Jets to win, as I always do. Got to give a big shout-out to Sleeper Picks. They are the proud sponsor of Jets Media all season long. If you guys did not check them out by now, I don't know what you're waiting for. You guys can use my code JETS to get a 100% match up to $100. Huge, huge shout-out to our guys over at Sleeper. You guys can win 100 extra money building a really fun player prop bets, all right? A big parlay. You can win a lot of cash. Bet responsibly. Big shout out to Sleeper. We're going to wrap up the video. Don't forget to comment your thoughts in the chat. Love you guys as always, and let's go Jets. I'm out. Peace out.